Welcome again to the Silverhawk Medicine Lodge and the Revelation Book 2 and the Magical Mystery Tour. Today we're discussing becoming fearless, hugely important teaching. Because fear is the greatest enemy of our soul, of our life. If you have fear running your life, you have anything but freedom. You are a slave to the fear, and it will prevent you from expressing and being and becoming all that you were meant to be, and compromise your life till you have no life. So how to become fearless is vital information, vital knowledge. You become fearless in only one way that I am aware of. You go back to the communion of the I Am with the I Am source, with the intention of seeing why we should have no fear. What knowledge can blossom in you that will transcend fear? So we want to see and gaze deeply into this realm of fearless being. Only the source can give you that pure blessing and state of mind and being. So let's gaze into the nature of fear. You may fear many things. You may fear becoming homeless or friendless or becoming sick, becoming ostracized by society, become rejected by people you care about. You may fear death. And all these things may model and mold your behavior in a very restrictive way because you're afraid of repercussions from what you may say or do, which confines and constrains you in many, many ways. The preferable way to be is to get up every day and be one with Source and have no fear. And simply follow your path of evolution and learning or whatever it may be without fear of repercussions from anywhere or anyone. But even if that comes, you have to decide, am I going to compromise my path, my expression, for the sake of opinions of others? Well, we can see past this. Let's look at the fear of sickness. Well, if you have enough medicine, the right medicine, you needn't fear being sick. That's why I have the Shaman's Medicine Bag on my website. There is enough medicine there to fix just about anything that could ever come up. And what about the fear of death? This is the biggest fear, of course. And this is widely held by the whole tribe of humanity to a big degree, but only because we have not been taught the real nature of life, the real nature of spirit. Now, the Native Americans didn't harbor a fear of death the way the Europeans and other nations, people of other lands have. They transcended this fear because they understood that when your semester ends here with your little human form, that you went to what they call the other side of camp, or the soul plane. And that's where you would regroup and plan out another semester, another life. And of course, once you're on the soul plane, you realize there is no death of the one called you. The physical body is a vehicle for three-dimensional experience. When you leave this dimension, you're in a higher dimension, much more beautiful one, and much freer, with more empowerment than you have here. You create with thought and have access to vast realms of knowledge, and teachers are there. And this is well documented by people who have had near-death experiences and what have you. So really, the reason you should be fearless is because you come to the conclusion, well, if I live in fear, if I fear one circumstance or another, then I'm already defeated. I'm already half dead, because fear is the killer of love, and love is the cure for fear. So you go to the source of love and you realize fear doesn't help me. For whatever it is I may be fearing, it doesn't help me overcoming by harboring the fear. All it does is make it worse. So you seek light, you seek insight, knowledge, wisdom, and spiritual sight from the source, so that you can transcend the fear and live a fearless life. And you start with faith, but as you work with Source, the I Am, and it shows you and guides you through the fears and gives you higher insight, your faith will turn to trust, because you will find that as long as you're supposed to be here, you will receive everything you need for your life. And so you can trust that. But you test it over and over again until that trust becomes firmly established. And then you may have belief in this source, but as you experience it more and more in deeper ways, you develop knowledge, true knowing of the source, of its reality, of its power, of its love, that it can overcome everything. And there is no substitute for experience here. You have to experience its power and experience it seeing you through. You have to test it. The only way out of fear is to walk through it and walk into it with your knowledge, with your communion with Source. And then you will see that, like Saint Germain taught, if human beings would really gaze into this, they would find out that 99% of their fears were imaginary, just dramas in their mind with no real reality behind them. Now, I'm not saying you should be foolish and go strolling across the freeway unafraid of getting hit by a car. This is just silly, And I'm talking about having common sense, and the fear of getting hit by a car will keep you from having that happen, which is good. But let's say a petite woman is accosted by a predator, a violent man who preys on women, and she has no weapon and no one is around to help her. Now she can go into two different states: real paralysis and become a victim and scream and nobody comes, or her assemblage can move. Her assemblage can move and say, I am not going to be a victim today. And so there's this 200-pound violent man against a 100-pound petite woman. And he's going to make her a victim. But something in her moves into the fearless state. The assemblage moves and her spirit comes in. And she realizes, well, this man may be formidable, but so am I. And the solution to my problem is at my fingertips. And as he grabs her, she very coolly realizes his vulnerability and jams one of her fingers, and it may have a long nail on it, directly into his eyeball. And now he is screaming in agony. And she runs away and runs away free, unmolested and unharmed, with a single finger in the right place. This is like martial arts. This is Steven Seagal. This is Jennifer Lopez and enough. This is transcendent sight. When you decide not to be in fear, then you're open for the guidance of spirit as to what to do to defend yourself or resolve the situation. You have to seek that. You have to get friendly with that space of fearless being through the communion. And then you will always be ready for anything that may come at you, and can draw upon this source for insight in an instant, and it will give it to you. The minute you fear and let fear take you, you draw to you the very thing that you fear. And you must transcend that with trust and knowledge, and see with the eye of spirit what to do in every circumstance. And this is always available at a moment's notice, and every single day, all day. This is the mind of the warrior of spirit, and is fearless and flawless and always victorious. So I hope you enjoyed this meditation, and I invite you to continue on and have more glorious experience. So until tomorrow, I bid you Amun Ra, Namaste, Carpe Diem, seize the day, Vaya con Dios, Aho.